Hey guys, ever since Dorbickmon's reveal, there has been one deck I've been dying to try making. Hexe-Dorbick, especially because we got a new Paildra and Crispaldra in EX-03. As for his opponents, I thought it would be nice to choose from one of the 4 decks that got defeated in the very first round of the Dragon's Roar Arena, shuffled, and Hexe-Dorbick's opponent is going to be Examon. Examon has the first move. Security setup. Digimon standby. Let's open the digital gates. Hatching, Baby-Domon evolves into Dracomon. Then, for 2 cost, into Blue Cordramon. Turn over. Hatching, Chiaromon evolves into Bluecomon. Then for 2 cost, into the new Paildramon. And for 3, into Majiramon. Turn over. Cordramon is kept in the raising area, and for 3 cost, it evolves into Groundramon. Then, for 3, Dracomon is played. On play, the top 4 cards of the deck are searched for a blue or green Dramon and an Examon. And there we go, Examon and Slayer Dramon added to the hand. Those are some sick pulls. Turn over, Majiramon moves out. And since Slayer Dramon is definitely going to come the next turn, they need to get ready. For 3 cost, they play Gomamon, and then for 4, the Twin Tamers, Sora, and Joe. Turn over, Groundramon steps onto the field. And first, for 3 cost, it will evolve into the Dragonic Knights and Conqueror of the Trial, Slayer Dramon. 1 draw. And with that, Slayer goes for security. On all turns, once per turn, when this Digimon becomes suspended, unsuspended, and checked, 7k on Crispaldra, trashed. Now, to prevent Hexeblaumon from benefiting off Sora and Joe's start of turn effects, Exa wants to evolve his Dracomon, but with Paildramon's inheritable. During the opponent's turn, when an opponent's Digimon with no evolution cards would evolve, increase the evolution cost by 1. So Exa has no choice but to pay 3 to evolve Dracomon into Cordramon. Turn over. Hatching, Chiaromon. But at the start of the main phase, Slayer Dramon will activate his effects. By suspending one of your Digimon with Dramon or Examon in its name, your opponent must attack with one of your Digimon. So suspending his Cordra, Hexeblaumon chooses to attack with Gomamon, triggering Sora and Joe. During your turn, when you attack with a blue Digimon, you may suspend his Tamer to trash up to 2 evolution cards from the bottom of one of your opponent's Digimon. So by suspending them, Slayer Dramon will now lose both Dracomon and Baby-Domon from his evolution cards. With Chiaromon's inheritable, 1 draw, and with Bluecomon's, memory +1 to 3. However, since Slayer Dramon still has Groundramon in his evolution cards, he is still a blocker, so he blocks and unsuspends with his all turns effects and wins the battle. Next, Chiaromon will evolve into Bluecomon, and then, for 3 cost, Majiramon will evolve into the Glacial Sorcerer, Hexeblaumon. 1 draw, and he immediately goes for security. On attack, trash up to 2 evolution cards from the bottom of one of your opponent's Digimon. Then if your opponent has a Digimon with no evolution cards in play, this Digimon gains Gem. The target chosen is of course Slayer Dramon, and now that he's lost Groundramon, he is no longer a blocker and cannot stop Hexeblaum's jamming attack. With Majiramon's inheritable, on attack once per turn, if your opponent has no Digimon with evolution cards in play, unsuspend this Digimon, but unfortunately, they didn't manage to peel off that one last evolution card from under Cordramon. Check. But it is Davis, now played for free. On play, the top 3 cards of the deck are searched for 1 blue Digimon and 1 green Digimon. The targets chosen are Draco and Groundra. Finally, for 2 cost, Bluecomon will evolve into another Paildramon and turn over. At the start of the turn, Davis bumps the memory up to 3. Active, draw, hatching, Baby-Domon, which evolves into Dracomon. Now, since Examon secured 3 memory thanks to Davis, he could technically now evolve Cordramon into Groundramon and perform a Jogress evolution into Examon on his turn while memory is still at 0. But unfortunately, Paildramon's inheritable is in effect, which means that as long as one of the Jogress material Digimon has no evolution cards, aka Slayer Dramon over here, the cost of the Jogress evolution will increase by 1. So if they spend 3 for ground draw, they will need to spend an additional 1 on Exa, ending their turn before Examon can attack or do anything. And the Exa that comes out will only have a maximum of 4 evolution cards, so even if he forces Hexa to attack at the start of their main phase, with Hexa's on-attack effects and Sora and Joe's effects, it will instantly be rendered with 0 evolution cards. So that is probably not the best play to make in this situation. Instead, Examon is going to focus on his raising area for 2 cost. Dracomon evolves into Green Cordramon, and then for 3 into Groundramon. Turn over. At the start of the turn with Sora and Joe's effects, since there is a Digimon with no evolution cards on Examon's field, Memory +2, active, draw. Paildramon is kept in the raising area because there is definitely an Examon coming the next turn. First, Hexeblaumon will go for security again. With its on attack, Cordramon will lose its last evolution card, and with Caromon and Blucomon's inheritables, 1 draw, memory +1. And now Majiromon's inheritable can finally come into play, unsuspending Hexa, and check, 7k on Wingdramon, trashed. The question now is, should Hexeblaumon go for a second attack? Since Examon has the ability to suspend an opposing Digimon, whether or not Hexeblaumon goes for its second attack, it is most likely going to leave the field the next turn. But the difference is this: if Hexeblaumon goes for a second attack and ends the turn suspended, Examon can take it out, unsuspend, and end the turn unsuspended, so it can then bait out an attack from this Digimon in the raising area and instantly kill it, wiping out Hexeblaum's board. But if Hexeblaumon doesn't go for a second attack and ends the turn unsuspended, then Examon will be forced to go for security first to suspend Hexeblaumon and finish off Hexeblaumon with its second attack, which means it will end up suspended at the end of the turn and cannot bait block this Digimon. So Hexeblaumon is not going to go for a second attack. Instead, first, for 3 cost, Paildramon will evolve into Chris Paildramon, and then for 3 into another copy of Hexeblaumon in reserve. Turn over. At the start of the turn, Davis bumps the memory up to 3, draw, and Groundramon moves out. And now, with Groundramon's second effects, during your turn, Examon in your hand may treat this card as a level 6 Digimon for DNA evolution. So if 1 level 6 green Digimon and 1 level 6 blue Digimon, paying 1 cost due to Paildramon's inheritable, Groundramon and Slayerdramon will DNA Digivolve into the largest Royal Knights, Examon. 1 draw. On evolve, you may place 1 green or blue Digimon with Dramon in its name from your hand at the bottom of this Digimon's evolution cards. Breakdramon is added. Then, when DNA Digivolving, you may play 1 green or blue Digimon with Dramon in its name and 12k DP or less from your hand at no cost. And with this effect, Examon is going to play another copy of Breakdramon. And at this moment, the new BT11 Dracomon's inheritable triggers. During your turn, once per turn, when you play another Digimon with Dramon in its name or Blue Flare in its traits, gain 1 memory, essentially negating the 1 cost from Paildramon's inheritable. With that, Examon goes for security. On all turns, once per turn, when this Digimon is suspended, unsuspended, and suspend 1 of your opponent's Digimon. And it gains plus 1 KDP with Babydomon's inheritable. Check. 14k on Omegamon, Blitz Omegamon, but that is not enough to stop the massive Royal Knight with 16k DP. And with that, Examon will attack, aiming for none other than Hexeblaumon. Of course, Hexeblaumon is taken out, triggering Breakdramon's effects on all turns. Once per turn, when 1 of your Digimon with Dramon or Examon in its name deletes an opponent's Digimon in battle and survives, trash 1 card from the top of your opponent's security. And guess what? It has the exact same effect as its inheritable, which means, since there's 1 Breakdramon on the field and 1 in Examon's evolution cards, 2 of Hexeblaum's security will now be sent to the trash. First was Atomi, second an Azulongmon, and guess what? They still have 3 memory, which means they can now do this. For 3 cost, Cordramon evolves into Wingdramon. And just like Groundramon, Examon in your hand can treat Wingdramon as a level 6 Digimon for DNA evolution. Which means, with 1 level 6 green and 1 level 6 blue Digimon, consecutive DNA Digivolves into Examon. 1 draw. And with its on evolve once again, first, it gains a Breakdramon at the bottom of its evolution cards. And because I'm for some reason bricking on Breakdramons today, here comes another Breakdraw. There are literally 4 Breakdramon on the field right now, whether as Digimon or as evolution cards. So can you imagine if an Examon wins a battle and survives right now, 4 of your opponent's security are going to the trash. But anyway, Examon goes for security. All turns once per turn. When it's suspended, unsuspended, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, but there are no targets. Oops. Final security check for Hexeblaumon, and it is 1k DP on Gomamon, simply trashed. And with that, Examon can just go for game. So the official winner of this match is Examon, managing to fend off the first of the 3 Dorbickmon brothers. But because the Exa deck went a bit too intense over there, making this a bit anticlimactic, let's turn back time a bit and consider what would have happened if Hexeblaumon got an additional turn. So we go back to the moments before Examon made its first attack. It goes for security, unsuspense. Final security check for Hexe-Dorbick, and it is the option card saur. On security, activate main to trash the top 4 evolution cards of one opposing Digimon, and all of your opponent's Digimon with no evolution cards can't attack until your opponent's turn ends. So the target chosen is, of course, Examon's final attacker. He loses 1, 2, 3, 4 evolution cards, rendering him empty. So he cannot proceed to make the final blow. For 3 cost, a Dracomon is dropped onto the field to search the top 4 cards of the deck again. Blue Cordramon and Examon are added to the hand. Turn over. At the start of the turn, Sora and Joe bump the memory up by 2 draw, and Hexeblaumon moves out. Now Examon will make use of Slayer Dramon's Inheritable at the start of the opponent's main phase, suspending the second Examon to force Hexeblaumon to immediately attack. But first, Sora and Joe are suspended in order to burn 2 evolution cards from the bottom of Exa, triggering Kyaromon and Blucomon's Inheritables for 1 draw and memory +1. And then with Hexeblaumon's own on attack, 2 more evolution cards are discarded from the bottom of the upper Exa. And check. Oh, but Examon has a pretty intense card in his security as well, and this one's natural. Giga Death! On security, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, then return one of your opponent's suspended Digimon to the bottom of its owner's deck, so Hexeblaumon is just gonna be instantly banished. But Hexa is not done just yet. First, for 3 cost, he activates the option card, Howling Memory Boost, to trash up to 2 evolution cards from the bottom of one opposing Digimon, then one opposing Digimon with no evolution cards can't attack or block until the end of your opponent's next turn. There's of course only 1 target remaining, and with that, all of Examon's Digimon are no longer left with any evolution sources. So now, the time has come. With Vmon, Snow Agumon, Paildramon, Chris Paildramon, and Majiramon, the 5 will accumulate as evolution cards for an absolute 0 Digicross. Here comes the commander of the Dragons of Ice, the first of the 3 Dorbickmon brothers. No draw. His Digicross conditions are Digicross -2 with 5 Digimon with different names and traits containing Dragon, Saur, or Ceratopsia. Pildra, Dragon, Snowagu, Dinosaur, V, Mini Dragon, Chris Pildra, Dragon Kid, and Majiramon, Holy Dragon. All 5 conditions are met. The play cost is 13 -10 for 3. And since Dorbickmon has Rush, he goes for security. With the old BT5 Chris Paildramon's Inheritable. On your turn, if your opponent has a Digimon with no evolution cards in play, security attack +1. And with Majiramon, on attack once per turn, if your opponent has no Digimon with evolution cards in play, unsuspend. Triggering Vmon during your turn once per turn. When this Digimon becomes unsuspended during your main phase, gain 1 memory. Here we go. 2 checks on 12k. First, 2k on Dracomon. Trash. Final security check for Exa. And it is the Twin Tamers, Davis and Ken. Played for free. And this is what I really wanted to show you guys. The super fun synergy that Dorbickmon has with all the Hexeblaumon Dragon cards and the aggro potential that you can create. And not only aggro, with the new EX3 Paildramon, you can also give your Dorbickmon an Inheritable to further freeze the opponent's field once you have a Hexeblaumon setup on yours. And the new EX3 Snow Agumon is a Dinosaur with the exact same Inheritable, so although I do not run him in this specific build I'm using today, you can to enhance your Ice attribute Dorbickmon's control potential. But with that, since Dorbickmon is unsuspended, it goes for a second strike. Okay, I'm satisfied now. See you guys in the next Dorbick battle.